Greetings and welcome back to the Osha Cerese Show. I am your host, Osha Cerese, and this is where culture meets coaching, where healing meets headlines, and where we utilize alchemy to transmute gossip into growth. Welcome back. If you have not already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. If you are watching this from any other platform, come on over to YouTube. It is youtube.com/@ Osha Cerese, and it's linked in my bio to make it easy for you. If you just so happen to be scrolling upon me on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as the bell, because you never know when I might pop up. This is a pop-up late night show, weeknights only, and we have a great time here, so make sure you stick around. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Again, I'm Osha Cerese, certified life coach, event curator, and dream doula, supporting you with birthing your ideas into reality. Welcome, y'all. Thank you for pulling up and tuning in. If you're watching the replay, hey. Drink of the evening is some good old crisp, cold, refreshing lemonade. And we are going to toast to an amazing episode 52. We're going to toast to happiness, great health, abundance, love, bliss, joy, peace, all great things. Did I say abundance? Wealth, all that. So cheers to an amazing episode 52. That lemonade. I need to go ahead and reach out to them so they can sponsor me so I can shout them out because it's good. Ooh, child. It is the time of year. Atlanta, I don't know where y'all be watching me from, but Atlanta reminds me a lot of Colorado, where I grew up. And when it comes to weather, the temperatures, of course, don't get as cold here. Like Colorado, sometimes you can get some like below 10 degrees, even below zero in the winter months. But when it's hot in Colorado. People think it's cold all the time. It's not. And you can get hot days throughout the year, winter, spring, summer, fall there as well. Here is the same way. It could be super cold in the winter. Of course, it doesn't get below zero, but it gets cold in the winter. And then it could be super hot too. But we're just entering spring. So, of course, it's going to be warmer. We've been having warmer temperatures. Today was 84. So we don't like to be cold in this house, so we keep the heat on sometimes at night when it gets a little cool. But now we've entered into the hot ass days part of the year where it's starting to be hot. It's 84 degrees today, so I have the air conditioning on. Then it was cold. The heat is on. Now it's hot. I'm like, what's up? Hey, realists. Thank you for pulling up. Thank you for pulling up. Remind me of where you're at, where you're located, because this weather is, I'm not complaining about the warm days. So I love warm, hot weather. Again, it's 80s today and tomorrow. I think we're going to be back in the 60s for the highs next week, though. But to be expected, it's spring. So before we get into the consistent hot days, we're going to have a little ups and downs. So it's all good. But anyway, y'all know we are recognizing National Stress Awareness Month in the month of April, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the world that will have you stressed out. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to just bring some more awareness to certain things that you may not even realize is stress. So today I wanted to talk about some of the signs that you may be more stressed out than you realize, because a lot of us are on go mode. Like I said yesterday, a lot of us are in survival mode and fight or flight mode at all times, to the point where we don't even realize it. So we're going to talk about it. Really say he's in upstate New York. It's getting hot there. Okay. I didn't even realize you were in New York. So that's like Buffalo, Rochester type area. I ain't ever been in New York. Confession. One day. So Let's get into these signs that you're more stressed out than you realize. Number one, this is something that I deal with myself. Constant fatigue, even after a full night's rest. One of my friends was laughing at me, clowning me, because I was like, I had told him, I think I said I had just woke up and I was so exhausted. He was like, how you just woke up and you're exhausted? Beats me. I low key feel like I don't know about y'all. I have the most detailed, vivid, real dreams. I'm a dreamer. I feel like I'm there. I don't know if I'm astral projecting. I don't know if I'm going into a different realm at night when everybody else is in dreamland. I'm somewhere traveling and having an action-packed evening. So maybe that's why I wake up tired, because I'm really not asleep. I'm in a different realm living life. I don't know. But that is a sign, one of the signs of stress. Um, to be, sorry, signs of allergy. To be fatigued and exhausted all the time. Um, so definitely, I would say in order to combat that is to find you some ways to rest your mind. Um, specifically, like creating a nighttime routine that helps you to get better and deeper sleep, like cutting off screen time early before you go to sleep, not eating so late, um, even doing a little bit of meditating or journaling so you can kind of focus your mind or clear your mind before you go to sleep. You could try some binary beats or some type of lo-fi or um, what is it, frequency type music as you sleep, or reprogramming meditations while you're asleep. It will literally, with the reprogramming, you have to be um, ready for that type of energy, because just imagine a monotone type voice just talking to you all night long. It's talking to your subconscious. So sometimes you may be dreaming out what it is that they're saying, and it's good things, so it's not a bad thing. But just switching up your nighttime routine can definitely help. Watching what you eat, of course, and how late you eat. Exercising, finding ways to get you a little nap in during the afternoon, um, so you can kind of try to reset your body to feel a little bit more rested. Sudden appetite changes, overeating, or loss of appetite could be a sign that you're more stressed out than you think you are. And sometimes you don't really realize that you're doing it until somebody points out that you look different. Maybe you didn't gain some weight or you didn't lost some weight. Um, but I hear people all the time talking about, oh, I forgot to eat, or, they're coping by overeating. So paying attention to that, a way that you can really tune into what you're eating or what you're consuming, how much or how little, is to create a food diary. They have, what is that app called? I can't think of it right now. It's something fitness. I'll look it up and put it in the comments after this show if I can't think of it during the show. But let me see. Let's just look it up. Yeah, MyFitnessPal. That's a good one to help continue to log your meals. If you're trying to lose weight, or if you're not, if you're just trying to monitor how much you're eating, it'll kind of give you a good picture of your eating habits, because sometimes we're on the go. We have so many things going on. It's tough to balance. And it'll, even if you just do it for a week, to kind of pinpoint what's going on, like, do you need to be eating as much as you're eating, or do you need to be eating more? So MyFitnessPal app is a way that you can monitor that. Short temper or irritability. I told y'all that's the one for me. Whether I'm stressed or not, I could just be completely irritable. But that's definitely one of them ones. So you have to find ways to deal with your irritability and your temper. And the first thing that you need to do is learn how to breathe, baby. Instead of reacting so quick and being so quick to pop off. Just take some time to breathe, be in your own energy, step away from whatever it is that's irritating you if you can, um, and self-talk. Like, what is the outcome if I allow my temper to blow up, allow myself to blow up right now? What is the outcome? Is it going to solve anything? Is it going to make it worse? Can I remove myself from this situation? Can I communicate how I'm feeling or what's bothering me or what's irritating me effectively? Or sometimes, and I always confess, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Sometimes the irritation, even though it's being caused by somebody else, they are not responsible for how it's making you feel. So sometimes being vocal about what somebody is doing that's irritating, which I do sometimes, it's not really their business. It's a you problem. So, like when people are smacking, if it's somebody that I love, and I'm like, damn, you chewing with your mouth open, or is it good? You know that they're gonna receive what you say, and they may not even realize they're smacking, and it's getting on your nerves. So maybe they'll change it. But if say you're in a restaurant and somebody is smacking, it may or may not be appropriate for you to make them change their whole set of behaviors because it's getting on your nerves. Maybe you can move seats, or maybe you could tune in to mind your own business as best as you can. But that's just a small example, because I know a lot of people are irritated by other folks smacking. But just, you have to pick your battles, and you have to find ways to regulate your own emotions, because you're not always going to have the luxury of being able to get somebody to change what they're doing that's causing you to be irritated. Trouble concentrating or brain fog. Trouble concentrating or brain fog. Again, that's another one where you should get into your mindfulness activities, like being able to keep yourself present. Um, if you're having trouble concentrating, oftentimes a lot of us, especially in this generation and under us, we have difficulty concentrating because there's so many things going on that we're distracted by. We have way more distractions than we did before smartphones and before internet and before this and that and the third. So unplug some of that shit, put it to the side, step away from some of the things, put yourself on a time limit. We have short attention spans and things like that, but if you're working, see if you can get yourself to work for a full 30 minutes straight, and maybe give yourself a 10-minute break and then repeat, or whatever that ratio looks like for you. Maybe you can only concentrate for a good 10 minutes straight and give yourself a 2-minute break. But however, you have to break that up so that you can focus on one task, and trying not to multitask some more. As much as we think we can multitask, studies show we really can't. We're really supposed to focus on one thing at a time. I feel like I'm a master multitasker. Again, I know what the studies say, but it's still too much for your mind to be pulled in so many different ways. I could be I could be doing something and somebody could be talking and I don't hear anything that they say, because I think I purposely tune things out sometimes when I'm like um overstimulated, when I'm just like, it takes a lot to listen. So when I'm just tired of listening, I might zone out and tune into what I'm doing, and somebody might be talking and I'm like, huh? But then there are other moments where I can be listening to something on TV, listening to something on my phone, and doing a task, and I hear everything that's going on. So even though you could do it, doesn't mean that you should. Rilla says, I get aggravated by back-to-back questions myself. You don't like to be interviewed, huh? I don't know if you're single or not, but the thing that sounds like just the experience of like meeting people on dating apps, and the back-to-back questions. I don't mind back-to-back questions, but it depends on the motive. Like, why you asking all them questions? But I get why that could be aggravating. You do nothing but multitask. I heard women can multitask better than men, even though none of us are supposed to. All over the place like a fool, right? So yeah, it's One of those things that we do, but maybe we shouldn't do as much. But the brain fog, again, it goes back to just centering yourself and being present. Stop trying to be all over the place. You in the past, you're thinking about what happened 75 years ago, and then you're worried about the future, and then you have this to-do list. Like I said yesterday, putting things on paper, putting them in your calendar, on your phone, wherever it is that you can like get things out of your head and onto the paper, onto an app or notes or whatever, like brain dump to make sure that you don't have such an overwhelming amount of tasks and thoughts going on in your mind. um, I was looking at this post on Threads the other day. I might read some things from it, but the lady asked just like, what are some things that you thought were normal that you later found out most people can't relate to? And a lot of people were saying that they didn't realize that certain people don't have an inner monologue, and I didn't realize that either. Like some people don't have memories of their childhood or memories past a certain date. Some people don't have like an inner voice narrating certain things, or that's constantly talking, or look, sounds like symptoms of schizophrenia, but it's not. It's normal for some people and it's not for others. So somebody was saying that their little inner voice, it has a British accent, but I know for me, I have a lot of memory. Like I remember most things. I have a great memory, especially long-term memory. Lately I've been finding myself talking, and then get distracted and completely forget what I'm talking about. So the short-term memory is starting to trip a little bit, but the long-term memory, I can remember so many things. I thank God for that too. Um, I'm thankful for my memory, but the look, I'm about to be on that short-term memory shit. Well, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the inner monologue. So just the fact that I got stuff going on in this head of mine all the time. So that's why I do practice meditation and yoga and things like that to quiet my mind. And even during those times, it's not always quiet. Um, I don't know how everybody feels about like plant medicine and different things like that. Psychedelics and things of that nature. I don't promote it or not promote it because I think everybody has to do their own research about it. But for a long time, I was studying and researching the effects of shrooms. And um, I did try microdosing. I've never done a trip. I don't know if I will. But microdosing was interesting. I think it did quiet my mind a little bit more. Like it made me feel more present and grounded in gratitude, and like things looked a little bit more vivid, slowed me down a little bit. But there's this other, I guess it's considered plant medicine, called rapé. It could be called rapé or hape, depending on who you're talking to. And someone that I was in community with was getting ready to administer it to someone else that was in our community, our sisterhood. And she had been telling me about it, and I had been doing a little bit of studying on it. And so she said, well, I'm about to administer it to her. Do you want to try some? And I was like, I trusted her so much. I was just like, she's like, I'll just give you a small dose. I said, okay. So after she administered a full dose to the other lady, she gave me just a tiny dose. And just in that moment, for those maybe 10 minutes, that was the most peaceful, quiet, centered time of my life. Like my mind has never been so quiet. It was just an opportunity for me to literally be still and sit and meditate without all of the constant thoughts. So plant medicine pretty much does what consistent, deep practice of meditation can do for you, or yoga. So a lot of people talk about, um, doing ayahuasca or different LSD and different things for this enlightenment and this big, um, you know, spiritual awakening and all of these things. But those same effects can be had. Um, DMT is what I meant, not LSD, but DMT. Um, those same effects can be had with breath work and with yoga and with just being in nature, and just you just have to be consistent with it. So it just kind of helps you get there faster. But I'm saying all that to say there are methods that you can get to kind of quiet your mind if you have an overactive mind like I do. It's all kind of stuff going on in my mind. I got songs, I got a karaoke machine in that joint, a jukebox, conversations, not like conversations like separate from myself, but just like, the thoughts have audio. I'll say that. And I would call myself an audio listener, or I'm really a visual listener. So when people are telling me stories, and that's why my stories are so detailed. I've been told that when I do a story time, people enjoy my story time. They're long, but they're so detailed you can picture them, because that's how I like stories to be told to me. When people tell a good story, I'm literally picturing everything in my head. So I honestly feel like that's why my memory is so good, because when people have told me their stories, I remember it like a movie. So like my cousin or somebody would be like, yeah, remember that time when such and such happened? And then I'll complete it and finish the whole thing exactly how it was. And they'd be like, damn, how do you remember my memories better than me? It's a damn movie to me, baby. I don't know. Hair loss or skin breakouts. So people, you have alopecia, different types of alopecia, but there's also stress-induced hair loss and hair thinning. When people talk about their edges being thinned out and different things, hair shedding, um, all of that can be stress-induced, and skin breakouts. I remember before I moved to Atlanta, I was just super stressed because I was also grieving. That was right. I love, my ex-husband passed away, or he was murdered um, a month and a half before I moved down here. So it was just so much going on in my life. I was so stressed out, and this was like a big move because I had never been away from Colorado from the time I was 3 until the age of 26 when I moved down here for no longer than 3 weeks. And that was the longest time I had been away. Before that, it probably might have been like 7 days. And I had just broke out into these bad hives everywhere. It was terrible. I had to get on a little medication and everything. I was stressed out. What up, the word? He says, hey, I did ayahuasca. Definitely different from anything. Uh-oh, it froze. Hold on. Definitely different from anything. And if you don't do it with a spiritual guide, you will be tripping. Well, yeah. What up, though? Yeah, even when it comes to something as simple as shrooms, I don't get how people are just popping shrooms recreationally. Like, I get everybody has a different tolerance level. I'm a lightweight, so I don't play with anything that can alter what I got going on. I don't play with it. I don't do it for fun. I've smoked a little um, herb or whatever, and even that is like, I'm a lightweight, so I can't do what everybody else do. But when it comes to shrooms, I always say if I was to do a full trip, I need a shaman. Meanwhile, other people are just popping shrooms and going on about their day. It's legal recreationally in Colorado where I'm from. And I see my little cousins and stuff holding up their bags of weed and their bags of shroom, like if they finna party for the night. And I'm like, everybody that I hear talk about their trips on shrooms, it's not giving, this is about to be fun. Let's pop this and just have a great time. And I understand you can have fun with it, like, being in nature and eating your fruits and, going with the flow or whatever. I think a bad trip kind of happens when you have fear, or when you have something going on that you don't want to face. So everybody's experience is different, I guess. Really said I just tried a half a e-pill before. My homeboy told me that when he used to be on that, he used to just be like super confident and walking through the club, spitting game to women and feeling good. I remember when ecstasy was really popular. Um, I've never tried it, or Molly, or not. I've never tried anything, honestly, other than what I just told y'all. Um, but I just remember being at the club with my big cousins, and they was like, "Oh yeah, he on E." This dude was just on the dance floor, sweating and dancing, and just having him a good old time on the dance floor. Oh yeah. But yes, hair loss and skin breakouts. Like I told y'all, when you internalize that stress, it will eventually manifest into some type of physical ailment or some type of physical symptom. So, there's plenty of ways to get your hair and skin together um, on the outside, but internally you have to take care of yourself too with the things that you consume, and not stressing out as much. Emotional numbness or detachment. I said yesterday, I think, well, sometimes you get to a point where the stress is almost like your norm, and your body is so just tapped out from being in that flight or fight energy for so long that you just become numb, or you just detach or disassociate. So um, definitely being able to express yourself in some type of way creatively, getting that energy out, screaming, doing what you got to do. And of course, like a lot of people just need to talk about what they've been through. And we have all these stigmas against therapy that it's got a lot of people holding in so many things to the point where they walking around like zombies. So find you somebody that you can talk to. Really said, me and my cousin split one out of curiosity. And how did it go? What happened with you and your cousin after y'all split it? Here's one that when I'm real stressed out, I do, especially at night. Grinding teeth or jaw tightness. When I'm really stressed out, I will find myself grinding my teeth, especially at night, but like during the day too, like just literally holding my teeth together so tightly. And it's just like, ooh, yeah, I'm stressed. So again, being, allowing yourself to feel safe within your own body, and doing just doing a body check, closing your eyes and literally going. You can either start from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, or the bottom of your feet up, and literally just relaxing each part of your body, really closing your eyes and focusing on each part of your body to see if it needs to be relaxed. Because a lot of us are grinding our teeth, clenching our fists, our shoulders are up here, our tongue is at the top of our mouth, our teeth are grinding, we're not breathing, we're clenching somewhere. I see sometimes people clenching their butt cheeks together, not realizing they're doing that. So just really doing a body scan, to make sure that you have released the tension throughout your body. Um, I recommend doing that even daily, just on GP. The word says, man, shrooms cool. I never tripped, but since 7, I did spiritual walks with peyote. So my tolerance is high. I've heard of that, but I don't know much about it. Yeah, you mean since 7, like '07, or since 7 years old? What tell us more about that. Another sign that you might be more stressed than you think you are, that you realize, is feeling overwhelmed by small tasks, which you don't think about it in the moment, but when you think about the big picture of that, if you have so much on your plate, imagine holding a plate full of things and you're trying to walk through the crowd without dropping it. And it's so many things is piled up. You barely have enough balance. You got a cup under your arm. You got your phone under your arm. You got a napkin. You got silverware, and you're balancing all this stuff. And then somebody comes and puts a damn deviled egg on the top, and it rolls off. It rolls off, or it throws you off, and you can spill the whole plate. You have so many things on your plate already, so many things that you're stressing about already, that of course one small thing can be bigger than it has to be, and it's going to be overwhelming, or frustrating. So clearing some of those things off of your plate, again, creating to-do lists, creating something so that you can check it off as you go, so that one little small thing won't poke you and trigger you and have you exploding. Using TV, food, scrolling, or substances to escape. I think a lot of us do that. The doom scroll is what they call it, where you're literally just sitting there, zoned the hell out. A lot of things are escapism. Scrolling, TV, food, that's one thing. But like, even when it comes to drugs and alcohol, like a lot of people ain't, not even really getting the feeling, not even really high like that. Because how much can you smoke in one day? Is it doing anything, or is it that you just want to stay zoned out? Are you doing it because you like the feeling of the euphoria? Are you trying to tap into something, or are you trying to escape from something? And that's always my first question when I see people, especially my age or around my age and from my generation, millennials, having alcohol problems or drug problems or addicted, even through, like, I've seen so many young people having organ failure and different issues and ailments because they're drinking too much. And I'm just like, why? What are you really trying to escape from? Because, you know, I can't relate to the addictive personality when it comes to that. So I know that it's a disease for some people, but it always makes me wonder, like, why are you doing that? Like, what are you trying to escape from? So of course, if you find yourself doing certain things to escape, maybe you can find something else to escape with. Maybe scrolling and TV and food is not a positive form of escapism. Maybe trying to escape in a book or escape in nature, going to take a walk and immersing yourself in nature, going to pouring into your hobbies and passions as a form of escapism, because it'll be like a positive form of escapism versus just going into the rabbit hole of really depression. So that's what I would recommend for that. Let me see what y'all saying. Oh, you said that. Vigilante says, "What's up, Vigilante? That's how I feel about people who are in travel for no reason, gang." Yeah, you said that before, and I said that I I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You're saying that some people travel as a form of escapism, because why do you have to leave where you are to vacation somewhere if you're happy where you are? But I also feel like once you start traveling, that I really think your perspective is going to change, because people travel not just to get away from home. Because honestly, regardless, I know personally, when I travel, I can go to the most beautiful place, have the greatest time, enjoy it, love it, want to come back, looking forward to going to somewhere else. But there's nothing like my own home and my own bed. Like, that is my place of comfort and peace and relaxation, and where I always want to return to. But there's so many other reasons to travel: for culture, for just, experiencing a different side of life, for a different experience that is not available to you where you live, to get to know new people, to try new cuisines, to listen to new music, to go attend something that is not available in your area. It's not just about like, oh, I hate my life, I need to go somewhere. Because most people that travel just for the fun of it, they have the funds and the means to be able to get up and pack up and move if where they're currently at is miserable. So it's not, most of the people, I don't think that they're vacationing to escape from um, their immediate reality. But I get what you mean. I get that can be for some people. And then, of course, the constant worry or racing thoughts. And again, that goes back to being able to center yourself and finding ways to meditate and finding mindful practices to get you back into your body. We talked about worrying yesterday. What does worrying solve? It's a normal thing for people to worry, but then once you realize you're worrying, you got to ask yourself those questions: is it in my control or is it not? If it's not, how can I pivot? What are the solutions? Give it to God, pray about it, do what you can, and you know, do what you got to do. Vigilante says, I don't buy the culture thing because Black people don't know their own culture. I would say some Black people. A lot of Black people know their culture. If you prioritize another culture over your own, you're an Uncle Tom by default. So wanting to know about another culture, do you feel like having the desire to know about and learn about another culture is prioritizing another culture? So again, let's recap those signs that you're more stressed than you realize, and then we will move on into the first topic. So again, constant fatigue after a full night's sleep, sudden appetite changes, whether that's overeating or loss of appetite, short temper or irritability, trouble concentrating or brain fog, emotional numbness or detachment, hair loss or skin breakouts, feeling overwhelmed by small tasks, grinding teeth or jaw tightness, using TV, food, scrolling, or substances as an escape, and constant worry or racing thoughts. Mindfulness, meditation, immersing yourself in nature, getting hobbies and passions to focus on, doing a body scan to see where you are tight and where you're holding your stress and releasing that energy, talking to somebody, getting in a therapist or a coach or someone that you can trust to be able to get some of that out, prioritizing your tasks and writing them down, whether it's on paper or you put it in your phone, and schedule it out so it won't seem so overwhelming. So let's get into this topic, y'all. So it's interesting because I was looking for a topic before I got on, and all of a sudden this topic came up that was initially supposed to be the topic for the very first episode of the Osha Cerese Show. This situation that occurred prior to this new information that has been released was actually going to be my first topic, but then right before I got on the show for the first episode, something else had happened and I switched topics at the last minute. So full circle moment for that. So the topic is about Matt Barnes and his, I don't know if they're married. Let's double check and fact check because I don't know if they ever got married. I think they were still engaged. Let's see. Let's fact check. Yeah, they were engaged. I had to double check that because, sometimes celebrities be low key getting married on the low. Okay. So I think her name is pronounced Anansa Sims or Anansa. Anansa. We're going to go with Anansa. So we all know Matt Barnes, former NBA player. Um, he started getting in the headlines a lot with his relationship with his ex, Gloria Gavan. Um, they have twin boys, and I remember when they were going through their breakup, and the new man that she was dating, I don't know, was it Matt that flew? I think the new guy either drove to see Matt or Matt drove. I think Matt drove like hours to go beat the dude up. I didn't do my research on that because it's not the topic, but I just remember that being in the news. I think she's still with the dude too. But anyway, so Matt has the twin boys from the previous relationship with Gloria, and Nansa has 3 children from a previous relationship, her marriage to David Patterson, and then they have a little boy together. So they have a blended family, and in like around February, because the first episode of the Osha Cerese Show was February 1st, so it either happened on that day or like the last couple of days of January. Um, Anansa exposed him, and she put up, let's read it. Let me pull it up and read it. I don't want to misquote. Okay, so she posted on IG and said, where she posted a meme and it said, she said, I once loved a man so much that I was fixing him while he was breaking me, with a broken heart emoji. And her caption said, why, Matt? 8 different women in January, with another heartbroken heartbroken emoji. So she ended up sharing names of 8 women, including Masika Kalisha, who is Fetty Wap's daughter's mother, basically, of the women that she claims he had been cheating with. So she put up all of their information, all of their Instagram tagged all of them, and basically wrote a little snippet under each name explaining what they had done with Matt Burns. So it was like Masika, allegedly January 18th through 19th, Denver trip, allegedly back on since summer 2024. All the other the names have been crossed out on this thing that I'm looking at. But it says someone else, allegedly her place, January 20th. She allegedly told me it's been going on 6 years. Someone else, allegedly, according to a message or to messages, and someone else, allegedly, according to messages, another person, allegedly, she told me it's been going on for 7 years. Someone else, she allegedly currently does our car insurance. Someone else, allegedly, according to messages. And then she says, Haley Camden, allegedly, according to messages. And then she says, y'all can have him. So after that went on, we didn't really hear much after that in the blogs or anything. But I do feel like oftentimes when men cheat, or women, I'm talking from a woman's perspective, a heterosexual woman's perspective, cheat or whatever the case is, we often protect them by keeping it on the low, keeping the business private or whatever. She said, forget all that. She was going to blast him and the women, because the women, I feel like they deserve to be blasted too, because not saying that this is the appropriate thing to do, but if you're going to blast women, I understand why she did it, because they know about her, because she is in a public relationship with a public figure. So she feels like they're just as guilty, even though they don't owe her any loyalty, but the fact that they know. So she blasted their asses too. But hadn't heard much more about it in the news or the blog since then. So just recently, Matt was on a podcast. I'm not sure if it was his own podcast or someone else's. Let me see. I think it was his own. And they had Jason Wilson on, and Jason Wilson is phenomenal. He has a program for boys. He teaches boys like emotional intelligence, defense, and he really speaks to the youth, and he speaks to men as well. He has a few books, I believe, but his latest book is Be the Man. Let me get it right. I don't want to say his book wrong, because I feel like if you're not following him, fellas, it would not hurt to go ahead and give him a follow. The Man, the Moment Demands. That's what it's called. The Man, the Moment Demands. Master 10 Characteristics of the Comprehensive Man. That's his latest book. And he's kind of on a book tour right now. I just watched his interview on Dear Future Wifey. I watched his interview on Let's Try This Again by B. Simone. And this, I guess, was his stop at Matt Barnes and his people's podcast. I don't know, they're All the Smoke. Yeah, that's their podcast. So this is the clip that I saw that came out today from the interview.
Really just lost my family through being...
And this is Matt Burns.
My actions, I literally just lost my family through being what you talked about, I was the strong provider. I wasn't there emotionally. I wasn't empathetic. I wasn't willing to share those emotions. And that was stuff that my ex would tell me, you're a wall. And then again, trying to dig back and understand and starting counseling that, like you said, little Matt from back then is still hurt and still trying to find his way. Although grown Matt seems like he has it all, little Matt is there more than I realized. So my question is to all those men that can't or feel like they can or just won't, tears won't come out. I know it's such a refreshing and helpful and good thing to do as a man, but how do you cry if you don't? I don't want to say I don't know how to cry, because I've cried before, but I haven't cried in probably 30 years.
You're guarded.
Too much.
You have to change your perspective of what crying is. You still, deep inside of you, you still believe it's
my action.
So you have to go and watch the full interview to see what else he says. But I know Jason Wilson also often talks about certain language about emotions when it comes to men. Like he doesn't like to use the term vulnerable because he's like, nobody wants to be vulnerable, especially a man. A man always wants to be able to protect and know what his, know his surroundings. He doesn't want to be in a position of vulnerability. So oftentimes when people say they want a man to be vulnerable, that's not a term that is appropriate to use because it's going to automatically make a man be defensive. So he says more so like emotional or transparent. What up, Candy? Thank you for pulling up. I see you on Instagram. So Matt said a lot in those few seconds, but let me see what Vigilante says. That's hard. Shout out to Matt. Yet again, the toxic man always needs a willing victim. Willing victim is an oxymoron to me. But willing participant, I understand that, but willing victim, oxymoron. He said a lot. He said that he's lost his family due to his own actions. He's talked about being the strong provider, but not allowing himself to be in his emotions. He talked about little Matt, which is his inner child hurting and that manifesting into his adulthood and into his relationships. He talked about not being able to cry or tap into those emotions. He said he knows how to cry because he has cried before, but he hasn't cried in over 30 years. So that means he hasn't cried in his adulthood. I'm sure he's not. Let me see how old he is. He hasn't cried since he was 15 years old. And it also makes me think, I'm sorry, y'all, my allergy is cutting up. Just by looking at that, it also makes me think of an interview on The Breakfast Club that I recently saw with David Banner when he said that he was a little boy, maybe 5 or something years old, playing and having a good time and came in the house laughing. And he said that his dad was like, come here. What you let me see if I can find that clip because the way David Banner says it is much more powerful than how I can repeat it. I just want to play this. If I can find it. I'm going to just tell y'all what it said if I can't find it. Or what he said. I think it's this.
where we from? Y'all gotta tell you this. Really happened to me. So, I'm 10 years old. I walk in the house. I'm playful. My dad said, come here. He said, what the fuck you smiling for? Dang. I said, huh? He said, I pay all the bills. And I ain't happy. What the fuck you happy for? Dang. I don't think I smiled again until I was 21. Jesus. Like, Jackson, Mississippi was the murder capital of the United States when I was growing up. It's just that
So at 10 years old, he came in the house playful and laughing as a child should be able to do. And because his dad was in pain, upset, mad, angry, bitter, probably hurting, feeling like his life is dedicated to just paying bills and taking care of his kids and his woman, that he condemned his own baby boy from being happy. He's like, what? I'm not happy. Why are you happy? And he said he didn't smile or laugh again until he was in his 20s. So that just made me think of that when Matt Barnes is saying that he hasn't cried since he was 15, because often boys are told to suppress their emotions. And then when we become adults, women are upset in relationships, wondering why their man can't connect with them and why he won't let his guard down and why he won't show his emotions and why he won't allow himself to be sensitive or have empathy or the emotional intelligence that we want them to have. And I'm not making an excuse for men either, because it's up to you to seek that and find ways to get into that. But I understand if ever since you were a child, you were told, stop acting like that. That's weak. Stop crying. You're not a baby. Tighten up, toughen up. All that, stop acting like a girl. All these type of things just beat into you with words or physically. Of course you're going to suppress parts of yourself because that's what you were raised to do. So I definitely encourage men to, find that heal that inner child, whether it was the inner child that never was allowed to be sensitive, never was allowed to be heard or to express themselves or have emotions that all humans have. Emotions are not designated just to women. It's not feminine to cry. It's not feminine to have hurt feelings. It's not feminine to express yourself. So being able to unpack that and reframe that language, and not saying that, I get it. Women, we can get turned off by a man that's too overly sensitive, overly crying. It still needs to be a balance. And that's with all of us. We say women are emotional, men are logic, but men are emotional as well. And women need to be able to manage our emotions too. Like, we can't just be um, constantly crying and whining and bitching and not having those solutions either. So it goes both ways. There's a balance, and that's what it's called. It's called emotional intelligence. So being able to regulate those emotions, being able to be self-aware, being able to be know it's when, the time and the place for things, being able to communicate effectively. Let's see. Vigilante says, I wish we would completely throw away this provider term being the measuring stick for paying all the bills. I never understood that, even as a well-off man. I don't know why this keeps freezing. Oh, hold on. Okay. Even as a well-off man, I can't wait until that goes away. Well, this pretty much has gone away, because it's not many men that are traditional in the sense that they even want to be a provider or are capable of being a provider. And there are some men that want to be, but of course the economy is whack right now. So we have arrived. The time that you're waiting for has arrived. Rilla says it takes a lot for me to shed tears. I know a lot of men like that, and one of my friends also, he says that he hasn't. I think he said he hasn't cried. Um, I don't even know when the last time he said he's cried. So, what do you do with that, with those feelings, or do you get sad and you're just not able to physically cry, or do you feel like you would want to cry? How do you release that? Because when I tell you, I think I probably cry every day, and not boohoo crying, and usually not crying for myself. It's very rare that as I've gotten older, that I'm just crying for myself if I'm stressed or whatever I'm going through. Um, I'm just really empathetic. Like, I was watching a video before I got on here, maybe 30 or 40 minutes before, of a father um, coaching his son through a hard task. His son has spina bifida. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And so he has like it's a specialized walker um, that he has to use to get around. And he was trying to show his son, like, if he had to get on top of a curve and there was not a slant for him to get up there, like not a handicap accessible ramp, and how he can lift his body up to get on the sidewalk or on the curb. And the little boy was really trying so hard, and his dad was so patient and loving and coaching him through it, and all of that. And the little boy, he was trying his hardest and he just couldn't get it, and he was trying to be strong too. And then he started kind of tearing up, and his dad was like, it's hard, huh? It's frustrating, huh? And he just bust out crying, and he was saying he was frustrated. Whew, I was crying with him, and it was just not in a pity way, like I'm pitying what he went through, but it did make me feel like, just thinking about how grateful we have to be for like all of our abilities and all the things that we're blessed to have that sometimes you take for granted. And just seeing a baby, a young little boy, having to go through that and still being so resilient and having a positive mindset. It was just, I just get emotional about that. And then, of course, since it just was the anniversary of Selena's death, March 31st, I've been seeing more clips of Selena. And every time I see Selena, I don't know, I just cry. But so I feel for those of you who haven't been able to cry. Not saying you got to be a crybaby like me, but just to be able to let that out and express yourself in that way. Vigilante says this morning, I connected with a doctor who is looking to build her brand bigger, and I agreed to help her 12-step program. I don't know if I need it, but I'd rather find out than run from it. I'll even document it. Yeah, I think that's great. You never know. I mean, everybody needs support. Like, it's not a bad thing or maybe I do or maybe I don't. Like, we all need some type of support, some type of healing, some type of therapy, and some type of coach. Like, we are humans. We're all learning. We're all growing. The most successful people have coaches and therapists and a team of people to help them. Really says it comes out as anger. I let it out and move on. See, you gotta find, I ain't gonna say you gotta, but I encourage you to find other ways to express, other emotions to tap into. Like, take a look at the emotional wheel when we get off of this call. And I'm gonna have to get me a new laptop because I really want to be on StreamYard from a computer where I can upload images and things like that, because I can't do it from my phone. I can't figure out how to do it from my laptop, and the laptop webcam is not great. So I would have pulled it up here, but until I figure that out, the emotional wheel allows you to look at all these other emotions that we have outside of what we're normally used to expressing. Anger, sadness, happy. What's the other one? Anger, sadness, happy, surprise, things like that are like surface level emotions that we are used to talking about. There's so many other emotions around that, and sometimes just being able to give it a language can help you to express it better. Also, just acknowledging that you are capable of feeling sad sometimes, or frustrated, or overwhelmed, or whatever it is that you identify as the actual feeling that you're going through. Because maybe it's not even anger, maybe it's just expressed in an angry way, but it may be, not putting this on you, but just overall, when people express themselves through anger, it could be loneliness, it could be feeling misunderstood or not heard or not seen, or just stressed out. So looking at the emotional wheel and finding more language of what you're actually feeling and giving yourself permission to feel that is going to be some great first steps on that. Besides that, I'm a very positive and zen person. Yep, but we all have duality, because I could be positive and zen too, but I could be I could turn up. I can, we all have duality. I would just say that. If the economy is stopping people from living how they want to live and they're still not choosing to leave, then don't they deserve to be sad? If the economy is stopping people from living how they want to live and they're still choosing not to leave, then don't. Everybody has the right to be sad. Absolutely. Everybody has the right to feel their emotions. It's just a matter of, are you going to live there? Are you going to be sad? Like, I actually have a client who told me that she was feeling sad about the current presidency and what's going on, and feeling anxious about the future and nervous about the future. And I did have to talk to her about ways to cope with that, ways to heal that feeling, and, things to do. Like, a lot of times people are consuming too much news. We know what's going on. It's good to stay informed, but when you're overly consuming news, as soon as you get up, you're turning the news on, you're watching the world news, you're watching this show, You get to work, you logging in, you hearing more news. You get on your phone, you're seeing news, you're seeing celebrity news, you're seeing world news, you're seeing traumatic things because now there's less censorship online. So I'm seeing a lot of violence on the phones. You getting in the evening news and then you watching it at night. My dad watches a lot of news like that, and I'm just like, cut it off. Like, it's good to be informed. It's great to know what's happening, but a lot of it is fear-mongering tactics to make you feel sad and keep you in that low vibrational energy. And that's exactly what they want you to be. They want you to be in fear. They want you to be sad. They want to shift the collective energy. So sometimes you have to make the executive decision to turn that shit off, switch the channel, tune it to something else. Um, and then of course, just I'm always going to tell you to be grounded in your faith and your spirituality. And, people will tell you faith and fear do not match. So if you have faith and you know that you're covered and you know you're divinely guided and protected, you have to lean into that sometimes, all the time, to be able to stop allowing man to have so much control over you, because they are not greater than the creator. So whatever they got going on in politics, the powers that be, the elites, whatever they trying to do, they're not the greatest. They're not the the end all be all. And then, you have to keep going. So whatever they're doing, whatever's happening in the midst of that, you still have to be able to live. And you don't want to have nobody keeping you in a state of fear, keeping you stuck, sitting around waiting on the worst things that can happen. Right now, you good. Live your life, stack your bread, get into your community, figure out who your people are around you, find out what ways that you can do to fix your situation in your family. Do what you can do. Do y'all want to leave the country? Do y'all want to get some land? Do y'all want to talk to your local farmers? What are some action steps that you can take? Whatever it is that you're fearful of with this new administration, okay, what can you do about it? Back to the solutions. She is Black American. Exactly. That's why I try not to even pay the news any mind. It's so much negativity. Yeah, I call it bad news. Bad news is on. I have my ways of staying informed with what's going on, but I'm not sitting up consuming no back-to-back bad news, period. But back to Matt Barnes, we got into, with him saying that he's lost his family and his little younger him is sad and hurting and all of these things. So after this clip came out, Anansa, what is it? How do you pronounce this girl name? Anansa? We're gonna go with Anansa. It looks different on Instagram. She says, if you're going to talk publicly about our personal business, tell the whole story. Don't post half-truths about me and our past relationship to gain sympathy from the masses. I'm in the trenches doing the hard work, making sure all of our kids are okay. You've made no effort to emotionally support all of our children through this traumatic transition you caused, but you're willing to be vulnerable for strangers on the gram for profit. Please keep my name out of your mouth. Since I left, I've said nothing about you, and there's so much I could say about the man you truly were to me. If you don't have respect for yourself or for me, at least have respect for our children who follow you and see your posts. Your post is triggering for the kids and I while we're in the midst of healing and rebuilding our lives. We're the ones who reaped all the damage you caused by your constant, selfish, toxic choices. You don't consider our kids in your actions before, or you didn't consider our kids in your actions before. Please try to consider them now. If you want to do some good, please don't speak about me. Go get consistent therapy, and most importantly, start building a relationship with God. Peace and blessings. So just based off of what she's saying, just going by what I'm seeing, I don't know what's happening in there behind the scenes, but it sounds like she said, she's been wanting that emotional connection with him and him to open up and prioritize them and make better decisions for the family. And now you're on the podcast talking to this man who has this book, The Man, the Moment. Let me say it correctly now. The Man, the Moment Demands. Jason Wilson. Now you're talking about, the things that you are facing and what you're going through. So it's almost like a slap in the face for her, because she's like, where was the healing before we got to this point? And I think that that is something that we can all learn from. A lot of times people don't get it until it's too late, unfortunately. You can have a great relationship with someone even if you are still healing, or if you haven't started your healing journey. As soon as you realize that that little you, or that past relationship that's still lingering on in your heart, or whatever it is that you're facing that you need some healing from, don't wait until you push the person that's trying to love you away, and then now all of a sudden you want to do all the healing and I want to go see the lady, like Offset be saying. um it's never too late to start your healing journey, but there is a time where it's too late to keep your family or keep your relationship. So it's a choice that you have to make on going ahead and getting into it before you miss out on your life, your wife, your woman, your relationship, your children, your family. Him restarting after Gloria Gavan and their twins, and building a relationship with Anansa and their new child and their blended family. Now it's all broken apart because you out here thought and bopping with all these women. So I wanted to name some of the chapters, or I can name all of the chapters in this book, of the different types of men that Jason Wilson is talking about in the book. So chapter 1 is the initiation. Chapter 2 is whatever the moment demands. Part 1 is the dynamic characteristics. And it's chapter 3, the fighter. Chapter 4, the provider. Chapter 5, the leader. Part 2 is the deeper characteristics. Chapter 6 is the lover. Chapter 7 is the nurturer. Chapter 8 is the gentleman. And chapter 9 is the friend. In part 3, the devotion characteristics. Chapter 10 is the father, or the husband. Chapter 11 is the father, and chapter 12 is the son. So he talks about these different aspects of a man. So I'm really excited about this tour that he's going on, and hopefully that he could touch a lot of men, because some men don't like to hear advice and healing modalities and tools and techniques from women. Some men are open to it. I draw a lot of men towards me. I appreciate men who trust me to hold space for them and to support them on their journey. But sometimes men want to hear from other men, or they respect when they hear from other men. So I really appreciate Jason Wilson and his platform. But it seems like he provided a safe space enough for Matthew Barnes to open up. But based on what his ex says, it sounds like he has not done the work to actually go get therapy, or to build a relationship with God, or, to have that spirituality. And a lot of women who are spiritual, they will get with men who have no spiritual connection. Like, maybe they believe in God, but they don't have an actual connection. They're not nurturing their relationship with God. Or maybe the woman is Christian and the man is not, and they accept it and they want to convert them. So being equally yoked, as they say, is not always the case. So I don't think you necessarily have to have the same exact religious beliefs in order to be together, but you do have to have some type of the foundation, or the values need to align. And I think it is good when you do align spiritually. Maybe your practices are different, but if you're a spiritual person, having someone who prioritizes their relationship with God, the Creator, the Most High, whatever you label the Creator as, is really important. Very, very important. So Vigilante says, after excuse me, after staying through 8 cheats and a family separation, that's exactly the place they're supposed to be in. They both hurt the kids by setting this as a foundation and an example. So do you feel like she should have stayed with him in order to keep the family together after he cheated with the multiple women? Her saying seek help is no different than someone saying who hurt you. It's very insincere. I'm sure she feels empowered that she left and finally found peace, quote unquote. Um, I get that sometimes people use that as a weaponized term, who hurt you. Seek help can be passive aggressive as well. Let me see exactly the terms that she said. She said, she didn't say seek help per se, but she did say, if you want to do some good, please don't speak about me. Go get consistent therapy, and most importantly, start building a relationship with God. I can see how somebody could, be sensitive to what she said, but I don't honestly think that she was being messy or passive aggressive in saying that. I think she's addressing him because he's addressing it publicly, and she's saying, I'd rather you not speak on me. I'm not speaking on you. I'm trying to make this transition good for the family. I think she feels justified in what she did publicly because she was the one that was done wrong. But I agree with that too. Like, she did just as much damage to their public image by posting that publicly as well. So she has to take some accountability for that too. Were you thinking about the kids when you exposed all of this online? If the same kids that's following Matt see what he's doing, I'm sure they saw what you did as well. And even though it wasn't right, if you're going to consider what the kids are exposed to or what they are privy to see, then that includes you exposing them as well, exposing him. But for her to say, however their dynamic is of communication, it seems like they're not talking directly to each other. For her to say, go get consistent therapy, and most importantly, start building a relationship with God. So hopefully he does. If it's too late for their relationship, at least they have to learn how to co-parent. Him and Gloria Govan, they went through a lot of turmoil publicly with their relationship, and it seems like they found a way to co-parent. So now they have to start a new journey of having to figure out how to co-parent with this baby boy and the blended family if they're going to stay in touch. So when kids are involved, when it's public, it's all challenging, all around challenging. I don't know why these comments are freezing today on my end. Let's see. If she took a step back after the first cheat and left after the second cheat, then it would have garnished respect and drawn hard line. I never want to see women disrespected, but don't do it to yourself. I totally agree. A lot men do what you allow and what you accept. Absolutely. So basically, it seems as if she is calling him out for trying to garner sympathy on this episode and not actually doing the work, which leads us to another topic that's a little bit lighter, but it's still kind of reminding me of like how people can weaponize certain things. But as we wrap up the Matt situation, I didn't realize we were going to be talking this long, and the topic that I'm about to get into, we were supposed to talk about it last night, but I said we would talk about it tonight, so I'm not gonna skip out on it. Allergies, y'all. Excuse me. But of course, just to recap with the Matt thing, healing that inner child and healing whatever else he's going through, whatever he's holding back and suppressing for not being able to cry over 30 years. Those are things that he could be working on. He could have been working on them while in the relationship. So don't wait until the relationship is destroyed to all of a sudden have the energy to put in the work. And that goes for so many different things. Like even with like a situation like R. Kelly, I can see R. Kelly was hurt. His inner child was hurt. He was sexually abused as a child by his sister. So that manifested into him becoming a predator himself. But you have the resources, the money, the access, all of the things, the people around you that you could have gotten the help. So now when you are getting caught up and you got, your demons and are out of the closet, now you're like, oh, I want help. I think he even his team reached out to Iyanla Van Zant and everything. And it's like, Don't do it when you're caught and when it's too late and now your ass is behind bars for 30 years and everybody getting side-eyed when we play R. Kelly music now because you let your hurt create a monster and hurt other people when you could have been got the help. And I get it. Sometimes people can't see that they need the help until it's too late. So just learn from these situations that if it's something that you're going through that you know you need some support with that is affecting you in your adulthood, don't wait until you lose your wife or your woman. Don't wait until you lose your freedom. Don't wait until you lose your career to do something about it. And of course, public vulnerability does not substitute for private accountability on both of their ends. Y'all talking all this shit online, exposing your relationship issues, but you got to do the work behind closed doors and be accountable and figure it out. So, you know, we talked about men being taught to suppress their emotions, and we have to stop doing that. We have to be the change, because we can't go back in time for the millennials and the Gen X's and the Gen Z's and all of them to teach young boys that they are in the right they have a right to have emotions. But what we can do is raise these little boys now and allow them to have healthy emotions and be able to express themselves and communicate themselves and communicate the feelings that they are having and be able to cry if they need to cry and be able to cope effectively. Yes, they are putting all their business out there. So yes, and again, I agree with her for him to seek therapy and a relationship with God. But I want to switch gears to this final topic that we were supposed to get on last night, and it is this thread that I saw that went viral. Let me read it to you, and then we're going to talk about why it's deeper than what it seems. So, this lady's name is Just to Teach on Threads. It says, I went on a date with a man. I asked if he could cook after he asked me the same. He said he doesn't know how to cook. I asked if he had any interest in learning. He said he doesn't intend to learn. That's when I knew there would not be a second date. Now, on the surface, people might think, why is she being petty? Just because he don't know how to cook and don't want to learn how to cook, that's his business. Why is she tripping? Why is she saying that she doesn't want another date with him? But this is a perfect example of what we call weaponized incompetence. I personally get irritated when I hear people say that they can't cook either. Not saying that they can't cook well. So maybe you're not the greatest cook. Maybe cooking is not really your ministry. But when certain people act as if they had to survive on their own, they can only do takeout, delivery, microwavable things, something they can pop in the oven. I don't understand that, because recipes exist and it's not that damn hard to follow a recipe. If you eat meat, you get the meat, you wash it off if you wash it off. If you don't, you don't. You season it up, you put a little oil in your pan, and you put that motherfucker in there and you watch it. And then when it gets a little brown to your liking, you flip it and repeat until it is done. If some people can't cook rice. I get it. Simple way to make rice: 2 cups water, 1 cup rice. You put the water in the pot. You let it boil. Put a little salt in it. You let it come to a boil. Some people rinse their rice. Some people don't. You put it in the damn pot. You stir it a couple of times. You turn it down. You put the lid on. You leave it alone for about 10 minutes. As soon as you see that it's no water in there anymore, you turn it off and you fluff it up with a fork. Voila, you got rice. Vegetables, you cut them up, you put them in a pan, maybe you put them in an oven or an air fryer, season to your liking, a little oil, boom, you got a meal. So I don't go along with I can't cook. I don't get it. People die twice. First, the moment they stop growing, and second, when they are in a box. If you don't cook, go to the gym, eat healthy, make income, dress well, have a spiritual practice. Hey, It's true. Some people don't. Some people die twice. I get that. So again, I don't even think it's the fact that he says he doesn't cook that bothered her. It was the fact that she said, "Do you want to learn?" and he says no. So that means that you are refusing to learn a skill that you need for basic survival. And that's another thing when it comes to young boys. Oftentimes, young boys are not taught basic survival skills or basic things that you need to be a functioning adult. So, you know, there was a big controversy about little boys playing with kitchen sets. One of my cousins said she ain't letting her boys play with no kitchen set, and that's her prerogative for her parenting. But most chefs are men. So, it's nothing wrong with encouraging children to learn how to cook. If you look at how they're raising the kids over there in China in kindergarten, they know how to cut, they know how to cook, they know how to use their skills. And there are certain schools here that are supposed to be for their like Montessori schools and stuff like that. I volunteered recently at a Montessori school a couple of months ago. They not teaching what they acting like they in there teaching some fancy shit. They not. They just letting the kids play independently. Real estate, he make a mean bowl of cereal. I just gave you 3 meals, 3 items that you can cook. Meat, if you eat meat, get it, clean it, season it, saute it. Vegetables, cut them, season them, saute them in oil. Rice, 2 parts water, 1 cup rice, boom. But you know, the same way we teach little boys, you can't cry, stop acting like a girl. We talking about, you can't do this, you can't play with dolls. And I get it. I get it. We were raised a certain way. But like you're not just raising a boy. You're raising somebody's husband and somebody's father. So allowing them to know how to take care of babies. Not if you don't want to buy them dolls, that's fine. But like if there's babies in the family, allowing them to build confidence enough, like sit back on the couch, let me show you how to hold them, let me show you how to care for a baby. Cooking, cleaning, these are skills that they need for themselves. That's not a woman's job or a woman's role, because what if you don't have a woman, and what if your woman is equally doing the same amount of things that you're doing and you all decide to share tasks? You still need to know how to do these things. And then if you're going to be a parent one day, you're going to have to teach your kids the same things. You might have to teach your daughter how to cook and clean and things like that. So it's called weaponized incompetence. A lot of the men in these comments were kind of defending the guy. And again, maybe you don't know how to cook in the oven or on the stove. Do you know how to grill? You can get you a little grill. You can even get a George Foreman, RIP. Get you a little George Foreman grill and put some chicken breasts on that thing. It got me through my early 20s. I was using the hell out of a George Foreman grill, cooking me some little chicken thighs, boneless chicken thighs or chicken breasts, and putting it on that grill. We have air fryers now. That makes it so easy. So it wasn't the fact that he didn't know how to. It was the lack of willingness to try, to learn, to grow, to evolve. And this it could start off as a cooking thing, but then what else do you not want to do because it's not your thing? And I'm not gonna lie, women, we do it too. We can be damsels in distress. I know for sure I've been offered to be taught how to change a tire, and I'm like, I don't want to learn that. But it is important for everybody to know, because emergencies happen. You should be able to do those things. I don't want to learn it, but I understand that that is a form of weaponized incompetence on my end as well. But examples of weaponized incompetence, incontinence. Incontinence is if you can't hold your bladder or your bowels. But incompetence, saying I don't know how instead of trying to learn, or saying I don't want to learn, or whatever. Messing up a task so badly that the other person never asks again. I saw this form of weaponized incompetence one time. This video was posted, and it was like a family of women preparing for a holiday meal, Thanksgiving or Christmas. They asked for the men to set the table. they did such a piss poor job at doing it, and you could tell that it was purposely done wrong and terrible. They wanted to be able to use that to their advantage, to never be asked to set the table again. So that is a form of weaponizing incompetence. Refusing to grow in areas that matter in partnership. So that is why I said this is related to the Matt Barnes thing as well, because the same issues that he's speaking on now that he's been running from, he's been doing that when he was within his relationship. But now he seems like he's willing to be vulnerable and open up and do some things, or trying not to use vulnerable as much, talking about me, and transparent. So, not wanting to grow in order to develop a healthy partnership. What is your partner supposed to do with that? Perfect example, when me and my ex were separated, and before I decided to go all the way through with the divorce, one of the things that was my reason, one of the straws that broke the camel's hump, when we were separated but still considering reconciliation, I had purchased a book for him that I wanted him to read. I said I wanted us to go to counseling together too. But one of my other stipulations in order for me to consider us getting back together, I had purchased a book for him to read, and I left it at Barnes and Noble. And I said, go pick it up. It's already paid for. Go to the front desk. He went and picked the book up. I think he started to read it, but he didn't finish reading it. And to me, that was showing me that you're not willing to put in enough effort to save the relationship. You want me to just forgive you and we move on and things be the same. And I wasn't willing to do that. So those are the type of things that can occur that make someone be like, it's over with, because I'm not seeing the effort now. Vigilante says, better yet, cook with my kids, teach my son is nothing gay about cooking, and my little girl that cooking is not to be, or not to keep a man. It's to survive as a human being. That will also be seen in dating as a plus. Let me read that again, because I totally butchered that. Better yet, cook with my kids, teach my son is nothing gay about cooking, and my little girl that cooking is not to keep a man. It's to survive as a human being. That will also be seen in dating as a plus. Absolutely. Totally agree. Realist says, they said I got something for their ass. I'm gonna set the table. All right. Exactly. And they were exposed, because your ass know how to set that table. And I would have been like, we're not eating until this motherfucking table is set correctly. But another form of weaponized incompetence is believing effort is optional because someone else will do it. That's a big one too. Oh, I don't have to sweep the floor. I know my wife will get it. I am not gonna pick that up off the ground. I'm not gonna do the laundry because she's gonna handle it, or whatever it is. Get somebody else to do it. Energy. Lordy. So, what y'all think about weaponized incompetence? What are some ways that you've seen a woman practice weaponized incompetence? I just gave you an example about me refusing to learn how to change a tire. I'm just a girl. That's what I think it is. I think I think y'all be wanting to be like, I'm just a guy, but it just don't hit the same. But I understand it can go both ways. But anyway, y'all, we almost at an hour and 30 minutes. So visit oshacerese.com for all of your coaching needs. If you are on your journey of healing, self-love, and self-discovery, and you need some support, some guidance, someone to hold space for you, someone who won't judge you, someone who has been through some things that can relate to the things that you've gone through and has done the work to come up with some tools and some tips for you, tap in. Go ahead and enroll in a course. If you need a guided course that has prompts and tips and tools and exercises and activities One Single Step at a Time is my 6-week healing course. It's heavily guided, so you have someone holding your hand. That someone is me, holding your hand throughout the whole process. And of course, it comes with weekly coaching. So you're going to have your check-ins every week. We're going to unpack everything that you did throughout that week and go over whatever it is that came up and provide you with some personalized assignments outside of what is in the program. And then it comes with the How to Beat Single guided journal. So that is One Single Step at a Time. And then you have 5 days, 5 ways in 5 days. That is the self-love program, teaching you how to incorporate your love languages into your daily acts of self-love and self-care and uncover those blockages that you may have when it comes to giving and receiving love. Why you not crying? Tap into 5 ways in 5 days. So maybe you got a blockage that you don't know what it is or why it's happening. But that's the program for you. It is 5 days that you can complete it in 5 days if you do the work, but you have up to 60 days to complete. And it also comes with a free coaching session. If you're not into courses and you don't really want that type of setup and you just want some personalized coaching, tap in, just book a discovery call. I will teach you, or I will let you know what it is that I offer, and we'll come up with a plan for you. And again, go ahead and tap in with the strategy calls if you are a business owner, influencer, creative, content creator, or if you just have some great ideas or you have some natural gifts that you want to learn how to utilize or monetize. Go ahead and book a strategy session. I promise you I will get you together. Some of my clients have millions of views. Don't look at my pages trying to critique what I do. I'm the behind the scenes queen. Some of my clients have millions of followers listening to me. Content plans, strategies, digital products, ebooks, e-courses, so many things that we can do to tap in with you. Or maybe you just need to come up with a niche or how you want to show up. Just we'll get you together. We'll have you showing up correctly on social media and in your business. So strategy calls for that. And if you are single, hopeful, romantic, intentional dater, whatever, looking for love in 2025, join the Intentional Love Collective. It is on the website now, so go to oshacerese.com, look around, tap in. Something else I wanted to say that just came up for me. What am I thinking about? Intentional love. Oh, tap into also, they would normally be called newsletters, but I'm calling them love letters. So I'm getting ready to start sending out my weekly love letters again. So you want to join the list and get it straight to your email. Great messages and updates, exclusive discounts and all of that. You need to be tapped in. So you can do that on the website as well. Let's see what y'all talking about. Realist says, I see women that do that all the time. Y'all think y'all slick. I'm just a girl. Realist says, I was watching some of that interview you posted on your wall. What did you think? Because people are definitely asking for the book, which that's going to take me a little while to create. I've been working on figuring out how I want to exactly do the full book. I have some things that I want to say. I'm going to say this. A lot of the things that will be in the book will expose other people, but then it's like, it's my story. So like they say, if you wanted to sound better in my story, you should have treated me better. But yeah, even with what I was talking about with my ex-husband on that interview, I've struggled with talking specifically about what he and I went through. I've talked about things that I've gone through with him without actually exposing the fact that it was him, mostly because of his kids, because my stepkids, I've protected them for their whole childhood to really know all the things that I went through with their dad. But now, most of them are over 18. There's one left that is a little underage, but she doesn't know me like that. So, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, my story is my story, and I'm not going to continue to silence myself because I want to share certain things that I've been through, because I know that my story will positively impact people and support and help people, because my story is not really unique. A lot of people are going through it, but they just don't know what to do after the fact or how to get through it. Some people are going through what I went through 20 years ago right now. So one of his children actually did see the clip. I don't know if she fully watched the full interview, but she liked one of my comments under the TikTok version of the clip. And so I reached out to her and I just said, I saw that the interview has made its way to you, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I said, I've been protecting you all about certain things about your father that are less than ideal. So if it's something that you want to know or something you want to talk about, feel free to reach out. And she was like, no, it's no problem. She said her mom has told her a few things, so she didn't feel the type of way. But even whatever her mother has told her, is not, she don't know what I went through. So I've just been cautious of the things that I've said out of my love for my stepchildren. But now I feel like they're old enough to understand. They're old enough to know that that wasn't all of him. He still was. There were great parts of him. He loved them. I would hope they would be able to, understand that that was some of the things that he was. You know, he has his own story. So that doesn't make all of him. So I've gotten to the point where I'm ready to share my story a little bit more detailed. There's a lot that I won't be sharing, but not on the internet, but probably in the book. So yeah, thank y'all for checking it out. You said it's a very touchy thing, but you have to speak your story. It is. You have that right. Thank you. Wow, they seen it. Just one so far. My other stepchildren, I've been kind of thinking about whether or not I want to reach out to them just to prepare them if they see it, or if I'll just wait until they reach out to me. Because we keep in touch or whatever, but we'll see. I'll see what's on my heart. I'm gonna pray about it, because I think I am gonna give people a little story time. And yeah, they've been asking for more information, and I know what I'm going to share is going to be helpful, especially for young girls that can be easily influenced and end up in relationships that are not appropriate for them to be in. So that's that on that. But that interview that I did, I've been following JC for a long time, and I love his interviews. I love the way he edits them. I think he's dope. But that particular segment was sponsored by Netflix because it was in promotion of Survival of the Thickest coming back for season 2. So on TikTok, Netflix reposted it and they commented specifically about me. They said that they were like, the second woman had our jaw dropped the whole time. So Netflix, hit me up if you want to get into this movie, because I really feel like my story should be a movie. I definitely want to write the book too, but I think that it should be a movie. I don't want no low budget, I don't want no low budget. I don't want no low what's the word I'm looking, like cheap cinematography, bad acting, bad wigs. I don't want none of that. Like, I want what's love got to do with it level cinematography and storytelling with my story. So we'll see. But let me get y'all some journaling prompts before we wrap it up. Thank you, Willis. Let's see. So we talked about some of the signs of stress that you may not even be realizing you are as stressed as you really are. So what signs of stress have you been ignoring? What signs of stress have you been ignoring? And what would it take? No, I'm going to skip that one. What would it look like to take care of you first? What does it look like to take care of you first? Have you ever withheld vulnerability or transparency until it was too late, and why? And just a bonus journaling prompt. What do you expect from a partner who says they want to grow with you? What do you expect from a partner who says they want to grow with you? But thank you all for pulling up. We are 1 hour and 40 minutes in. This was a great episode, I think. I appreciate y'all for staying here and talking with me, chopping it up. I gotta figure out tomorrow's show because I'm supposed to be out and about tomorrow evening. So I might do an earlier show, or we might be on location again. We shall see. But I'm definitely gonna see y'all tomorrow. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all so much. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Tell your folks about it. Let's see, we're on the journey to 300 subscribers in the month of April, and so far we are at 217. So we're getting some motion going. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night.